everyone, it's Autumn. Today I want to go ahead and do the beauty pie update video that I promised you guys a couple of months ago when I did the initial beauty pie video. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave the initial beauty pie video right up here if you haven't already seen it, but I'm going to address anything that was left, kind of a question at the end of that video.
Hey, what happened?
So pretty much what happened is I did a rundown of pretty much everything that I knew about Beauty Pie. It's still a newer company. They're about 3 years old, and I just wanted to kind of let you guys know everything that I knew about them. So when I did that video, I had a couple of unanswered questions still at the end of it where I had contacted them through Instagram and I still hadn't answered back. And it was around the holidays and there were quite a few things going on, and so I have the answers to that in this video. Also, when I made that video, it ended up being like super long. I think like an hour and a half long. And I had a few comments of people telling me that that was just too long of a video. And while YouTube does remember where you left off on a video and you can come back to it and watch it again later, I realized that maybe some people may not want to click on a video that long. So what I'm going to do for this video is, this is just going to be an update video for that video. And then I think I'm just going to make beauty pie videos a series on this channel where I said series and she thought I said Siri, but I didn't. Those videos are going to come out when I get a beauty pie order. And like I mentioned in my first video is that I allow my allowance to save up. So again, if you're not familiar, you pay for a membership for a monthly allowance, and depending on how much you pay depends on how much of an allowance you get to spend at Beauty Pie. I usually like to save my allowance up so that I can save on shipping, like I mentioned in the first video, because they have flat rate shipping. So the flat rate shipping is around $8 and something. I'll save several months up all at once and just have it shipped all at once instead of buying it every single month. So anyway, I'm going to address a couple of the questions from the first video, talk about a couple things. Then at the end of this video, I'm going to tag on a haul that I also filmed as well. So let's get started. So the first unanswered question from the first video, or I guess unanswered thing, is the fact that there were things that had disappeared from the site when I went to edit the first video. So I was including pictures along with the products and just talking about different pricing and different things, and they were changing the site up as I was posting the video. And it turns out the reason they were doing that is they were removing certain things from one area of the site to put into their holiday gift shop. And so they had a holiday gift shop going on, and that gift shop, they were making it to where it didn't use any of your allowance to purchase those items, and you could buy them, and then that would allow you to just continue buying like your regular items that you normally get, like your skincare and that sort of thing. But they had things like lip glosses and stuff like that that maybe you might want to get for a friend, or like a stocking stuffer. So it was more like a stocking stuffer area. But since they were moving them from one area of the site to another to allow for that, and it hadn't gone live yet on the site, it had just pretty much disappeared from the site. So I wasn't able to access those photos. So I thought that was a little bit weird. The second thing that I noticed to be weird, and it's changed a few times. So I have filmed this part 2 a couple of times because I keep noticing things that I hadn't had time to edit and upload. So I'm like,
Oh, well, I'll refilm it.
and then something else changes, or, you know, whatever. So the second thing that had changed was the fact that the MSRPs were changing. So I would take a screenshot, or I would write down what an MSRP was when I was giving you examples of how much things would cost and what you're actually paying out of pocket. And then all of a sudden the MSRPs were different and the prices were different. So the MSRP is pretty much what, or their typical price is what they say something would typically cost if you were to just go buy it in the store or from another online retailer. The thing with that is though, those prices were changing on their site, and I thought that was a little bit odd. And then I noticed shortly after they had a disclaimer that said that their prices would change, and they probably do it once a year, probably around the new year is what I've noticed, because then they had a disclaimer at the time that just said it's subject to change. And that disclaimer has since changed, and I'll show you here, and because I took the screenshot right before filming. All right, so what it says is to ensure our typical prices are current, we look at formulation, packaging, ingredients, uses, claims, and product size of our competitors and check their pricing in a variety of well-known online and offline retailers. We also account for taxes and delivery charges, and we repeat this exercise for every one of our products at least once every year. Okay, so that's what I'm going to keep in mind when in the future when I compare Beauty Pie products. So I'm not going to do a comparison of products on their website in this video. That's going to be in a future video, but that is what I'm going to keep in mind when I compare their products to high-end products. Because in my mind, I have a few in mind that I'm just like, their products are not stacking up. Several of them do, but I just want you to know several of them do not stack up to what their MSRPs are or what their typical price is. So I also mentioned in the last video that they didn't have any sort of cruelty-free sort of logo. So they weren't Leaping Bunny certified or anything like that. But then I noticed right after my video, or maybe not right after, but I feel like somebody there at the company watched my video, because right after they did have a logo with the cruelty-free bunny on there. And it's not on the packaging like I mentioned. I feel like, and I didn't go look to see if they were listed on those sites. I should do that, and I'll leave an annotation here if they are. But they weren't listed on those websites as being cruelty-free, in which it's free to be listed, but they did actually get their get a logo of some sort on their website to show that they're being cruelty-free, as opposed to just stating that they're cruelty-free. Okay, so this is kind of a saga where I'm gonna need to get my cell phone out and bring out all the pictures and the receipts.
I want to see the receipts.
Because it's kind of crazy. So I have a concealer from them. Let me get it out. This is the concealer. And I believe this is called their Incrediblur concealer, and it just comes in a stick form. And I think it's supposed to be like similar to like maybe Clé de Peau or something like that, right? But once I blend it out, it's a pretty close match for me. It's still a little bit orange. I am hard to match though, and a lot of their concealers go very pink or super, super yellow. And again, I'm a neutral undertone. I'm neutral, but also with an olive undertone. I'm a hard one to match, and I get it, and that's fine. However, I contacted them about that concealer because, again, I put up my last video and I was talking about, and I don't know if I actually put up this portion of the video. I had filmed part 2 right after and decided not to put up that part 2 because I was going to wait to do it. So I was talking about that concealer. Again, I went to take a screenshot to show the product, and it was gone off of their website. So I went and I contacted them on Instagram about all of the questions that I had from the previous video, as well as that concealer missing. So hold on just a moment and I will tell you what it says. Again, here they're answering several questions here, and I am going to put our entire conversation up on the screen because I had asked about their typical pricing changes, which, yeah, they do tell me that they were reviewed annually, and I let them know that things had disappeared off the site, and that's where I got the answer for that. Also, other products that had disappeared that I was going to talk about that were not on the site. They said they were going to bring it back as another product. Anyway, several things that were going on here. And One of the things that I had asked them about, I said, I also noticed, okay, hold on. I said, shade 150 is also missing in the stick concealer and it isn't marked as out of stock. Is that shade being discontinued? And then they responded with, we don't do shade 150 on our Incredibleur concealer. But I had it. So I thought that was a little bit odd. And so I responded with, you used to do a shade 150 on that concealer because I have it and it's the only shade that matches me sad face. And again, I probably bought this when I was a little bit more tan. Again, I've been indoors like all winter, well, and out of the sun, and well, especially indoors now, you know what I'm saying? So, and then they're saying, unfortunately, this has been discontinued. Well, I asked you if it had been discontinued before, and then you told me, pretty much like gaslighted me. But anyway, so then that was the end of it. I didn't, really notice. But then I was going to do screenshots for this video, and I was going to do it this morning, and then I noticed this concealer shade is back. And I had made a comment to them in this thread, and I said that I was hoping the Beauty Pie would make an effort to expand their shade range. It's a little bit frustrating that shades are being removed from the already limited shade range. And so all of a sudden, this is back. So, I mean, thank you for listening. But again, it is very frustrating because they have a very limited shade range. Also, in the previous video, when I did the video, there was like the whole thing with the foundation, the lightest shade of foundation was way higher. And I asked them about this foundation being way higher in price. And I filmed the video, and then all of a sudden, or I brought it to their attention, then all of a sudden that foundation shade was no longer way higher than all of the other ones. They brought the price down. And then it's way higher again. Here's the thing. Your shade range is already limited. I find that their shades are actually too dark. I don't find myself to be a super light person. I would say, that I'm pretty, I don't know, I'm not super fair. I've got like darker hair, darker features. And I'm usually, if not the lightest, the second to lightest because of the tone I need. And that's the thing, for the tone that I need, then their stuff always ends up being too dark. So I'm gonna try that lighter shade, see if it's a good fit for me. I haven't tried it yet, but that's the thing that's very frustrating with this, is that their shade range is so limited, and then they charge more for the lighter shade. But that lighter shade is neutral, so I'm gonna try it out, see if it's a good fit for my skin tone. Maybe I can mix it in with the others. But I just found that to be a little bit odd. And if you're curious about that whole saga about why they charge more and all that stuff, I don't want to hash into that again. Go watch the first video where I explain and give their explanation as to why their pricing is different on different shades. So I noticed a couple of days ago on Instagram amid all the madness with the whole coronavirus and stuff like that, where people were being sent home from their jobs and they were worried about money, that people on Instagram were asking if they could postpone, or I guess pause, their memberships with Beauty Pie and not lose their memberships that they already had saved up through Beauty Pie. And I had touched on this again in my first video, where I found it very frustrating, to where before I had asked them if I could do the same thing before they came out with skincare. They told me that I could. I did that, and then when they got skincare and I came back, my money was gone. Like, my allowance was gone, and I'm like, what's going on? And they said, oh, well, you can't do that. Well, they changed policies while I was like no longer, I guess, a monthly member, and then they got rid of my allowance. So people were asking if they would be able to pause their membership and be able to keep their allowance. And I don't know if there's just not a way for them to be able to keep track of that, if it's too much for them. Like, I have no idea. I think that whoever's running their site isn't very experienced. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do have a couple of reasons why I think this. And the first reason why I think it is, well, because of what happened to me, telling me one thing, then changing stuff, then also things on their site changing pretty often. And then also, I don't know when in the video or where it is, there are things that are still currently like grammar that's weird on their site. I think in one spot on the site, like a link to click explaining how MSRPs work, it says like they're there. There's like a word repeated. I think whoever's running the site just doesn't pay a lot of attention. It's like they don't have a team. It's like maybe they have one person running it. That may not be true. I don't know. But it just seems like there's not a lot of attention to detail. So then, a couple of months back, I emailed them in the midst of me deciding that maybe I was going to cut back on some things. I was thinking about doing this whole capsule closet thing, which I'm still thinking about it, but I was just trying to cut my consumption back. It was kind of one of the things that I wanted to do at the beginning of the new year. And so I contacted them and was like, hey, is there a way that I could just bring my membership back to a $10 a month membership instead of the $30 a month membership? Because I just feel like I don't need all of that right now. And they told me that I could pretty much quit my membership and then immediately rejoin at the $10 tier. There's no way for me to just like click my membership back. Like, there's no button for that. And so then that helps me realize the only reason why they have their cancellation policy that allows you to hold on to your allowance for 30 days if you cancel your membership is because they don't have that button that allows you to go back and hold on to it. So I mentioned again in the previous video that I thought that was odd that there's 30 days. It's not even like you go a full month and then all of a sudden, like, there you are again. That's why. They don't have it to where, like, most websites would allow that. Like, even like BoxyCharm or anything like that, they allow you to change the type of subscription you have, and for whatever reason, they can't do it on their site. That's fine, but that's why that policy is in place. So given the whole thing with the coronavirus or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it right now, given with all of that going on and how it's affecting people, and they don't have the ability on their site to allow people to pause while keeping their membership, it actually came out in a good way because Beauty Pie is allowing people who currently have memberships to continue getting their allowance. However, they're not going to withdraw from people's accounts for the next 2 months. So you're going to get your allowance like you are paying for a membership, but they're not going to charge you for it, and I think that's great. So if you're a member, I just want to let you know that that's something they're doing. I got the email about it, and I think that's pretty awesome. If you're one of the people who pays all at once for your yearly membership, they did mention that next year, I think they're going to give you 20% off of your next membership. So I don't know why this happened, but the referral program changed. Like, they switched from one referral company to another or something like that. And my referral name was Pretty Easy on there, which it's still pretty easy, but it's different. So before it was just my name, which is just plain old Autumn Moore. But now they've changed it to autumn_more. So anybody who watched my previous video and decided that they were going to use my referral code of just my name, I'm not going to get those referrals because they changed company. So if you put it in before they changed, I obviously would get those referrals, but anything after I wouldn't. So I did go back onto the other video and change it. But then also I noticed that the way they have the referrals set up is I can't put in or get all of my referrals at once like I can with many other companies that I've had referrals through in the past. So for example, through iBuyDirect, I've done referrals through them and they allow me just to kind of use those referrals as cash. And whereas Beauty Pie, since it's an allowance, it's not like I could use that allowance as cash. So if I have like 10 people that I refer, that would be, I guess, $500 of extra allowance, right? But they won't let me use the extra allowance all at once on one purchase. I can only use one per purchase, which means I have to pay for shipping every single time. But that's not the way that I like to shop. I like to save up my purchases, or like I like to save up my allowance and make one purchase so I save money on shipping. So that's kind of annoying to me because then at that point I get like a $50 bonus each time, so I'm still paying for the product, but I guess that means like I would get like, I would be able to buy like 2 extra eyebrow pencils or something like that. I wouldn't be able to like, purchase, skincare or anything like that extra with that allowance, which I find to be a little bit obnoxious. So before I mentioned their limitless gift shop, I want to go ahead and I want to touch on that really quickly. So they do have the limitless gift shop now. They made that a permanent fixture, and mostly what it is, it's items that are like giftable. So say you want to use your allowance on things that you want to stock up on that you need each month, like say your skincare and your makeup, you can go ahead and buy those items. But like say you have teacher gifts or something like that you want to buy, like candles or maybe a fragrance for a friend, you can still buy those items without those counting towards your allowance, but you have to click on the thing that says limitless gift shop or limitless shop. I'll show you on the screen now. You'll have to click on that first to go to it, and then it will show you everything that you can purchase without having to spend your allowance. Those items will be a little bit more expensive than buying them in the store because since it's not taking from your allowance, you didn't pay for that allowance. So it comes out to be a little bit more expensive doing it that way. And even with using your allowance, it's cheaper to get the items with your allowance. The only time using the limitless gift shop actually would save you money is like say you wanted an item that's in the limitless gift shop, but like say you had a bunch of other items as well in your cart that you also wanted and you were going to go over your budget, you would save money on shipping because you wouldn't have to wait till next month to get that item because you would just go ahead, buy it, because it only ends up being on average about $2 more expensive. I think the only item that ended up being like a weird amount more expensive was this candle that I got in my haul, which I will show you, which I don't know how to pronounce. It's the I don't know how to pronounce it. Candle. And for whatever reason, it ends up being $6 more expensive to purchase in the limitless gift shop than it is to purchase using your allowance. Everything else looks to be about a $2 difference. Sometimes like even like just a $1 to $2 difference. So if you're wanting to save that dollar, go ahead, use your allowance. But if you're wanting to save on shipping and you're wanting that item anyway, go ahead, pop it in your cart. It's fine. It won't use your allowance, whatever. So, and if you're wanting me to do a video on Beauty Pie math, I can do it for you. It's pretty simple, but I thought I explained it pretty well in the first video and somebody still had questions below. But at the end of the day, the way I do the math is how much money you end up spending overall. So I include your allowance plus the items you got plus your shipping. So that's Beauty Pie math to me. And then usually I divide and that's really what you spent on that item. And is that worth it? Because most places, if you purchase a certain amount, you get free shipping. So that's, and you don't have to pay a membership. So that's the Beauty Pie math to me. And then if you're looking at an item just on the website, you will see the typical price at the top and then the price that you're going to be spending. So the typical price at the top, if it's $40, I add $4 because for every $10 you spend, it's actually $1 that you had to pay towards to get that allowance, if that makes sense. So that, to me, in my head, that's Beauty Pie math. If you want me to do a whole video on that, explaining it and showing it to you in more depth, I can do it, but that's just the quick way that I do that math that makes it more understandable for me. All right, so this portion of the video has gotten long enough. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Any comments, do that. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to now cut to the end portion where I do my haul. All right, everybody, we've made it to the part of the video where my clothes are different, my makeup's different, but I show you the haul. So what actually happened was I filmed the rest of the video yesterday and completely forgot to show you the haul portion. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into it and show you everything that I picked up. So keep in mind that when I purchase from Beauty Pie, I like to let my allowance stack up for a couple of months so that I can purchase all at once and save with shipping. I did purchase one thing for a friend who was on the hunt for a lip gloss that was moisturizing and not sticky. And so I did purchase something for her and I already gave it to her. I'll show you what I got for her because I have one myself. And I got her one of these and it's just the Beauty Pie. Obviously everything here is Beauty Pie. A nude nectar, it's like lip oil. I'll put it on the screen. I'm gonna put everything on the screen with what their MSRP is and the purchase price as well. But I got her this. She got it. She loves it. This stuff is bomb. But a lot of the stuff that I got also is a repurchase of things that I was running out of. So they're either repurchases or new items that they just came out with that I was curious about. So, and that's mostly what all of my purchases are because I've tried almost everything that they have. So when I do hauls and things like that, it will mostly be something that they've just come out with that I'm curious about and I want to be able to tell you guys about it in future videos, or I liked it enough to repurchase it. So I'm gonna start out with this candle right here. And as you can see, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I have no idea. But this is the candle that I got. And it says 60-hour burn time. I don't know about that. I burned mine a couple of times. And she's almost gone. It smells amazing though. I mean, I guess I should start putting timers on them, but it is not a 60-hour burn time. But these candles do smell amazing. Go ahead and open this box up, let you have a peek. And there she is. I mean, it's clearly going to look exactly like the one that I already owned. But these are great. You can purchase these in their limitless, or you can also just get them with your allowance. There's not a huge difference though between the price. The other candle items I picked up, I got this, which is their, I don't know if it just says a collection of 3 petite French scented candles. Again, I'm gonna have it on the screen. And again, they have this also in their limitless gift shop as well. And this comes with 3 scents. This is the pomegranate and bays rose. This one is a mini of the larger one that I just purchased, that I cannot pronounce. And then this one is bitter orange and black currant, which smells really great too. So that would be a good one in the kitchen. But again, that would be a good gift to give to someone. They're very good, very nice candles. So the first thing I got from the skincare is this Japan Fusion 10-Minute Miracle Mask. This is a newer item to them. And so I was a little bit shocked. I didn't pay much attention to it when I stuck it in my cart. but their other masks actually come in packs of 5. This is a mask all on its own. It's just one, you get one mask. I haven't tried it, so I can't tell you how it performs. And I only purchased one mask, so I will have to let you know if it is amazing. We'll see, but I'm wondering, since it was just one mask, if maybe it's supposed to be like the SK2 mask. But the other masks usually come in packs of 5. The only other mask on the site that I think that you get like one at a time are the foot masks. So I thought that to be a little bit odd. Also from the Japan Fusion line, I picked up this, which is their Bio Ceramide Moisture Mask. And this is a multi-use mask that you squeeze out of a tube. It's not a sheet mask. Clearly it comes in a tube. And again, anything that is moisturizing I'm all about. I really enjoy the Japan Fusion line for the most part. It kind of gives you that whole super dewy, plump glass skin look. I wouldn't say that overall it's the most moisturizing, but it gives you the most moisturized appearance, if that makes sense. I think the most moisturizing cream that I've tried, at least on my skin, is, I would say, like the Jeju or the Jeju, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think that one's been the most moisturizing and nourishing for my skin. But the lightest one that is the most moisturizing, I think, is probably just the Super Healthy night cream. Okay, and then also they have the Japan Fusion Urban Air Purifying Day Moisturizer. So I was curious about this because they didn't have, like, they had a moisturizer before you could use day or night, but it was pretty thick. And so they have this now, and I was really curious about that. And it comes in this tube. And I wish it didn't come in this tube because I have their vitamin C day moisturizer also in this tube, and there's still some product left in the tube, and I'm having a hard time squeezing it out to get all the product out. So I wish it didn't come in that tube, but I am curious to try the moisturizer out. And then I also got a couple of serums. I got their Uber Youth Re-Elastic Concentrate Serum, like this. I have a serum that I'm almost out of. So I wanted to try out another serum from their line, and we'll see. But it's a moisturizing serum that I'm almost out of. And then I picked this up, the Triple Hyaluronic Acid Lipopeptide Serum. And again, since I was almost out of a moisturizing serum, I wanted to have 2 options to see which one would best replace it, or if I still liked the one I had before. I was just playing around to see which one, but just a moisturizing serum there. I'll let you guys know if you guys are curious after I try them all out and compare them to each other. Maybe I'll just do a video about all the serums of theirs that I've tried and kind of how they compare. They also recently came out with this, which I'm pronouncing this as Key Energy. I don't know how you would actually pronounce that, but this is their Double Cleansing Ginseng Micellar Water. And again, I haven't tried any of this stuff, so I will let you know. But here it is. And then on to the beauty products. So this is a repurchase. This is their One Powder Wonder. I really like this powder, and I moved the one that I had, which I've hit pan on it, and I moved it into my army bag, and I decided that I would just pack makeup that I know that I can rely on into my army bag, and then that way when I just go to army, I have that makeup in there and I'm good to go with it. So I just have a fresh one of these that I can keep in. It's just a really good everyday all over powder I can use. I'm gonna dip in here and then just go all over. It sets everything in place without mattifying your makeup, and I really like that about it, and it just makes your skin feel smooth. So, because I like my skin to feel nice and smooth, and I don't like to get like too grease ball looking, but I also don't like to look too matte. So yeah, it just feels, I like it. I got their Mascara Reviver Plus. So this was kind of a neat concept. This was like if your mascara is looking lackluster, you can pop this on, like maybe later in the day, it's after work, you're gonna go out with the gals, but your mascara is not looking good. Instead of using the mascara you applied earlier that day, you put this on. And the mascara, the bristles, are a little bit wider, which allows for it to go around instead of combing through it and then just kind of pulling your mascara off of your lashes. It just kind of puts this mascara on over your already existing mascara. So we're gonna just apply some of this and see what happens. So let's see if it does anything. We'll have to probably experiment with this and let you guys know how it does and how it wears and if it smudges or runs or whatever. Because I wonder if it's just the brush or if there's something special about the formula. So what do you guys think? We'll put some on the other side too. So I'm wearing the L'Oreal Monsieur Big, which is a mascara I do not like. And I had a heck of a time on this side, so I was hoping it would actually like make my mascara look better. So on the side that I didn't have a super hard time with, it actually is going over. So it actually looks, I think, somewhat better on this side. This side, it didn't want to do anything for it. Alright, so the next item I got is this Uber Volume Fiber Lash Building Primer. So I'm obviously not going to be able to like demonstrate this right now, but it's a lash primer you would put on before your mascara. And we'll just open it up and take a peek. And it's a white fiber. So I'll give that a try and I'll get back to you guys. And then I got some more of these thin super brow pencils. I got one in blonde and then I got two in the whatever shade that I normally get, which I think is called Perfect Brown. Yeah, Perfect Brown is the shade I normally get. And then this shade is called Blondie Girl. And I got the blonde because I just wanted something a little bit lighter, not super deep. Just to kind of maybe start the front of the brow. So I did pick 3 of those up. And then I got a lipstick in the shade Hush Now. And it's a light pinky brown nude. And I was just looking for a dupe for this lip liner that was discontinued that I used to have, which again is a pinky brown nude. I think this is a little lighter than the lip liner I had. Let me wipe off that gloss I have on. So this is a matte lipstick. It's probably not going to look the best on me right now since my lips are dry. Yeah, it does not. No, my lips are super dry, but I think this is still a color that I would be able to bring to where I need it to be with a little bit of lip liner. So normally I wear a nude lip liner, and my favorite thing to do is, I'll show you. I use this Dior Addict Lip Glow in the matte shade in Raspberry. And I just kind of touch it in the center. Yep. Looks better already. So like these are my favorite, like to kind of liven any sort of lip liner or anything up. So I think that looks way better already. So that's normally what I do to liven up like a nude lip liner. So I think that's going to be like my new sort of lip combo with this thing. So anyway, that is my beauty pie haul. So now you get a proper outro. I hope you guys are doing well with this whole sort of social distancing. I'm making it through. And if you guys have any questions or comments about beauty pie products, let me know. Let me know what products you have questions about, since I have pretty much tried everything from their line. Let me know if there's any sort of particular line within their company that you want to see a designated video about, and I'd be happy to make that. I've got nothing but time here at home, so I will talk to you all later and have a great day. Bye.